Welcome back. I'm Matt from Jaggers Brewing Co. If you didn't know, haven't checked it out yet, we have another channel called ferMentors. Check the links in the description for all the stuff that I'm talking about today. But on that channel, we just recently had a very good friend of mine, Ramon from Vienna Brewing. He invited me over for a brew day, so I got to brew with him at his place, and it was an experience. You know, there was a lot of food going on, a lot of friendship going on, a lot of camaraderie, and so we were brewing beer, we were drinking beer, we were eating good, we were talking, telling stories and swapping lies and all that other stuff that just a big group of people get together and just have a good time. That's what it was like over there, and it was totally awesome to be welcomed by everybody that is over there during his brew days. Complete, just a crowd, just an awesome experience. And so I got to go back recently, and we sat down and we filmed a ferMentors episode, and that video is live right now. So after you check this one out, please go check out that video on the other channel. Make sure that you're subscribing to both channels. I'm trying to grow them both. Also check out Ramon's channel. It's an awesome experience to see kind of just what he's doing there, and what the premise that he's operating there is to primarily brew a lot of Latin American type brews that are like historical or have some sort of cultural significance and importance to like Central and South America. And so it's an awesome thing that he's doing. I can't wait to see the next things that he starts to do, and I'm so lucky to have him as a good friend of mine. So we went over there and we brewed with him. And what did we brew? We brewed a Brazilian nut ale, and so basically it's like an old ale but with Brazilian nuts that are in the mash. Maybe some other slight differences. I'm not super familiar with old ale beers. I've only had this Brazilian nut ale and then like one other old ale before. From my understanding, they're supposed to be kind of like, you know, heading towards that like barley wine-ish stage. Not quite there as far as that goes. But let's pour this beer and we'll talk about it a little bit. Now, while I was over there with him, I got to sit down both times and talk a little bit about it, and so we'll cut some of these clips in and out in case you haven't seen either one of these videos yet. So here it is, the Brazilian nut ale. Beautiful beer. Smells wonderful. Looking forward to this thing. So basically what we did was 55.7% German Pilsner malt, 12% Munich II, 7.9 flaked rye, 7.9% Vienna Malt, 6% Caramunich Malt, 1.5% Crystal 20, 0.8% Chocolate Malt. Ended up just over 1.5 pounds of Brazilian nuts in the mash for 60 minutes. A pound of tornado sugar, brown sugar in the boil. Excuse me. Total 37.9 IBUs of Galena for 60-minute edition. 5.3 IBUs of Cascade for 15 minutes. And then he used London Ale WLP 013 for fermentation. We mashed for 60 minutes at 151. He fermented at 68 degrees Fahrenheit for 1 week. let it rest for 1 week at 71 degrees Fahrenheit, transfer it to secondary, let it bulk age. Now, he did have some issues with bulk aging. He had to interrupt that due to some issues going on at his house where he had to replace the floor and stuff. But he did let it age out a little bit in secondary there, and then cold crashed and packaged to 2 to 2.3 volumes of CO2. The original gravity was 1080, finishing gravity was 1020, IBUs 43, SRM 21, ABV right around 8. And then he dressed up the water. For water, it was just, you know, distilled water, RO water, built up with a profile. So I'm going to take a moment and we're going to cut in on a piece of the taste test that Ramon and I did on this beer and come back to it. It's been a few weeks since we shot that, so kind of use that to compare to what I got going on today. See you guys in a minute. So on the nose, you can definitely pick up a little bit of the nuttiness.
Absolutely.
It's like still, you know, it's pretty dominating as a matter of fact on the nose.
I thought, to be honest with you, that the nuts, we could smell it during the mash, but I was skeptical that it will come out in the beer.
Yeah, you were amazed every time. Like
that every time I tasted it, when I transferred to secondary, I could smell it. When I transferred to the keg, I could smell it. It's like I'm really blown away by this.
on the nose, like
Very malty too.
Yeah.
It has the sweetness.
that's what I was fixing to say. It's you can smell the malt. I want to say crystal clean because your crystal malts.
It does
Right.
have crystal malt. It has crystal 80,
Yeah.
crystal 120 in the recipe. It only has bittering hops, Galena hops for bittering. It's a really nice warming beer. I can't wait to put the fire pit and use this to sip it. But I can tell you, I have this beer with a little bit of food, something strong,
Yeah.
like a barbecue, and,
I was gonna
and
say,
it
what
matches
this-
really. It
This
pairs
was with
really
some
well.
ribs.
It pairs insanely well with tacos al pastor too.
On the mouthfeel, it's got it on the mouthfeel it kind of almost presents thin to me,
Mhm.
right? But on the taste side, like we have a complex there of you get the nutty roastiness like kind of up front, and then it moves a little bit into some malt background, and then like I swear I get like coffee on the end.
Yes, absolutely. There's like a roasty note, and I another thing that I found interesting is like I get a little bit of toffee, like this caramel toffee notes. They're subdued, but you know when you start thinking about a lot of these candy bars that have
Sure.
nuts on it, that's what reminds me a lot of that. And it has some sweetness, but it's not clogging. Is I think I would have expected a little bit more mouthfeel, but for some reason it worked.
That was a wonderful beer there. So let's see what it's like today. So, on the nose, I'm picking up a little bit on the maltiness, the sweetness, some of the nutty quality too. Smells freaking wonderful. And it might be because it's like a little cooler temperatures out too. Maybe I've got it in my head as well that this is meant to be kind of like that cold weather, maybe almost winter warmer deal. Pick up a little bit on the alcohol. So low, medium mouthfeel, kind of on the thin side still. But yes, so I walked away with some beers from when we shot, and so I'm gonna save the rest until it gets really decently cold outside, and that we've got the solo fire going to sit beside the fire with. Like I said, from my understanding, this was supposed to kind of head towards those barley wine type like profiles in the taste and the style, right? And I think we're definitely getting that. We've got that nutty quality kind of pretty predominant. It kind of presents itself right up front, moves into some of that coffee, toffee, almost chocolatey notes, and then get a little bit of the maltiness there, and then I feel like that nuttiness kind of comes back. And so it's kind of like the difference between like and I'm sure people have had some Brazilian nuts before and all that, but to me it's kind of like the difference between like a macadamia nut and like a peanuts or something like that. You know, granted peanuts aren't really nuts, but you've got that switch where, you know, it's just, to me it's like you would have, you've got the kind of more like richer, earthier, expressive nut up front, and then on the back end you get the creaminess there. This is really, really good. I definitely feel a little bit of that alcohol warmthness in this, which is weird to me, because generally I guess I wouldn't pick up on that in some like other, like the 8% beers thereabouts that I've had before, used to drinking, and maybe that's because it's a little thinner bodied, not a whole lot to hide behind as far as that goes. There is a lot of expression here with the aroma and the taste. Again, kind of very earthy, you know, and then you can move into those other profiles of like that nuttiness and the, excuse me, man, ooh, chocolate, you know, toffee, caramel kind of flavors, and then it just starts to turn into the malt sweetness, and then right back around. Yeah, doing that, you can definitely kind of pick up a little bit more on the alcohol smell and aroma. But it amplified everything else too, you know, the earthiness, the nuttiness, even the malt sweetness. All in all, this is truly a great beer. I'm super excited that I was able to partake in this particular beer. You know, I didn't really contribute to anything other than really coming to hang out with some friends and have a good time, you know, do some assisting and some lifting and things like that, and just talk about beer in general, about, you know, oh well, if we're talking about this kind of style, I would do XYZ. But with all that said, I think I'm gonna finish the rest of this off camera, because it's meant to be a sipper, and there's no need in hurrying this particular glass along. As you can see, it's got some carbonation. It doesn't have a ton, and that's one of the things that he had to control while bulk aging and then going and the carb it up was needed to be kind of on that lower end there. Man, I would almost say there's got to be like a touch of oxidation, like sherry type note here, but I think that it's blending pretty well back into some of that earthiness to kind of balance it out. So I don't necessarily think that it's oxidized. It just kind of has that note, not cardboard, just kind of sherry type note. I can't tell you anything other than it's really good at this point. I think it's kind of wrecked my palate a little bit, drinking it kind of as quick as I have so far. But with all that said, thanks for coming to check me out and hang out with me, talk about this fantastic beer. Please go check Ramon out. Tell him I sent you. Super cool guy, willing to exchange anything that he knows and help you work on a problem. Or if he doesn't know the answer, maybe he might know somebody that does. Super awesome guy. So lucky to have him as a friend. Wish I could hang out with him a little bit more often than we do, but it is what it is. If you haven't subscribed to his channel, please do so. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do so as well. We're getting really close to 500 subscribers, and I think that would be an awesome threshold to hit before the end of the year. With everything, just thank you guys so much. Your support means so much to me and every creator that I know personally on the platform, or platforms really. We're over a couple different things, but cheers to you, cheers to friends, just cheers to everything.